at the very least, I'm probably going to get negative feedback if eBay tell her to bugger off. These boxes of clothes, they are shipping super fast, and here's what we've shipped over the weekend, plus another one that's being picked up imminently, which is quite cool. So we've got 1, 2, in fact there's another box there, so 6 boxes, 7 boxes of clothing, kids clothing all going out, and a handful, 1, 2 and 3 of the other bits from the last 4 pallet load of electronics and face care stuff, which is really slow to sell, but 3 items is better than no items. So yeah, quite pleased with that. But I literally have been kind of scouring the internet of things to buy and sell at the moment, because, well, these clothes are shifting quicker than I imagined, and it's quite good because I needed to get a shot of them. But it does beg the question, will I buy some more? Now, initially when I bought it, I'm like, no, this was a mistake. The time involved in hanging up and inspecting stuff and all that, so it was so time consuming. In fact, I think there was like 3 or 4 boxes that we actually did, about 60 items, all that manually, one by one, which I still need to get listed because I haven't bulk listed them. But then when I started bulk listing, if you check some of my other videos out, started bulk listing them and they were flying. And we've gone from, well, 4 enormous pallets from the beginning of this little adventure down to, there's about 3 boxes out there, and that's what's left of 100 boxes. So really not much, and it's all listed. In fact, those ones that we did individually, sod that experiment of doing them individually, it might just throw them in a box and list them as well, because again, it's all about turnover. Let's stick you there. So I've got some packing to do. Yeah, so it's been quite an interesting journey. But I did have bit of a funny one the other day, and I knew that it would come back and bite me in the backside, and it has done. And I'm sure it's probably going to get worse with some negative feedback if it hasn't arrived already. And that is a customer that did buy a few boxes of these. But when you just meet the people that want something for nothing, and they will absolutely screw you. And I've never been about that in any of my businesses. I've always gone kind of, not premium level, but pricing wise at the top end, because I'm a great believer in, sort of, that's like 20-80. I was like 20% of the market will bring 80% of your revenue. And there are just some classes of people out there, types of people out there that literally want to screw you down to the nearest anything to get out of you. And those kind of people will literally sup every bit of everything out of you. And the money that you make on them, it just makes it not worth it. So I like those people to just go somewhere else, because they do just literally absorb every time. So there was a few offers on some sort of real low balling on these boxes of clothing, and I'm like, no, and I even set a bit of a threshold where I imagine on all these boxes, and I actually, it's quite interesting. I really need to get back in while I'm talking to you, but it's been quite interesting because I believe that there's probably been quite a few low ballers on this stuff, but because I have my eBay threshold set up actually quite nicely, it means that I don't get bothered by any of those. Normally, I don't put, so if I put a buy it now price and then an offer, I don't do anything with the settings regarding, decline anything below that figure and accept anything above that figure. But whereas for these boxes, I've gone, right, there's the buy it now price, say £45. I've gone accept offers above 40 and then decline offers below 35. Then I'm happy with that threshold. And I think it has worked superbly well, because I do imagine that I'd been just facing so many people literally chancing their arms saying, give you a tenner. That literally has to be, I have to make my money back plus a bit of a profit on these. So I'm not going to accept anything lower, even if they sit in this warehouse for another 6 months. But yeah, I had one person, and I should have known just by looking at the eBay, the name, that actually, this person's going to be screwing me for everything that they can. But to be honest, I lowballed a bit, but I'm like, no, I'm standing firm. And in the end, she bought probably 3 boxes, 150 quid worth. So I shipped them. And even then it was like, right, can you consolidate the shipping and this and the other? And well, if you do that, you'll get £10 off. What if I offer you £10 less? And this and I'm like, come on, really? You're getting about just over £1 an item for these, and you'll make a lot of money off the back of this. which is what it's designed to do, but you still trying to screw me out of a little bit of margin where you've got to pick, think about the bigger picture, what you're going to make from it, and not pay off your supplier. But anyway, that's when shipped those, and then she came to offer 3 more boxes, but yet again still trying to bungle me down onto, well, I've only got £125 this week, £145 this week or whatever, and can I get this and consolidate that? And whereas everybody else had bought this, and I've got people that have bought way more boxes. I think a lady called Hannah, there was, Helen bought 10 boxes, 11 boxes straight off the bat. Hannah's probably had that same again. There's 3 of those boxes are going to her, 2 to somebody else, 5 to somebody. We've got people buying loads of the stuff, way more, and yet literally none of them have asked to consolidate postage, and the postage is £5 at a time because it cost me that to DPD it, and they want it quickly, so that's where it goes. That's how I ship. So none of them, they bought 1 box or 3 boxes. They paid £5 or £15 shipping. But in the grand scheme of things, they're still getting an amazing deal on the items of clothing they're getting, and they know that. So yeah, not one person have come back. And for me, I'm not greedy, but I also know that this stuff is going out at rock bottom. So I'm not, I think I did consolidate a little bit of postage on some of them, and the weight was over, so I had to split that into 2 lots. But yeah, none of these people did, but yet they came and they bought back, and they'd offer me a little bit less, so I'd go for that knowing that they're going to make it up in postage. So again, they kept me happy, I kept them happy. But this other person came back and said, you know what? She came back and said, I've sold a load of items and I've had loads back saying there's little holes in, and I'm really embarrassed. What are you going to do about it? And I went, well, okay. So in the politest way possible, I went back and said, look, you are buying a premium brand clothing, or at least a high street, good high brand clothing, at a superbly discounted, incredibly discount rated, but they are returns for this reason, this reason, this reason, this reason, this reason, this reason. All my listings have exactly the same thing. They are returns. They're new with tags, new without tags, new with defects. Some are very few used with defects. That's why they're cheap. Okay, but what this woman's done is she's been far too greedy. Not only has she tried to nail me down on price, but then she's taken them. And I've also said, well, it's up to you to check. You bought box loads. I've not inspected every single item. They have stickers with defects. They're going to have defects. Some aren't. Some are returned back because they're not wanted or the wrong size. This is where you're going to profit from it. And I am making a tiny bit of it because of the fact that I don't have to sort them. But they are returns. But what this woman's done is obviously just gone, yeah, I'm going to sell these as brand new, throwing them out at a discounted price compared to the high street and making a lot of money from what she's bought it from, and then just clearly not inspected them, which I thought was lunacy. And I've gone back and said, look, you bought returns. You really should have. You can't. I haven't put a great deal of manpower into this apart from bulk listing, so that I keep my costs down, so I keep the price down. Giving them to you at a really low cost means that you should be doing the donkey work, i.e. getting each item out, inspecting it, pricing it, and then selling it however you're selling it. But this person is clearly wants something for nothing and then doesn't want to even do the hard work to sell it. And then the buyers are thinking they're getting a great deal because I don't know if she's selling them as brand new or whatever, and not inspecting it. And I thought, this is lunacy. So I went back and really politely said, look, you're buying returns, you know this. You bought them at a stupidly low price. You're selling them at probably a decent premium, making quite a bit. You surely should be putting in a bit of legwork to actually inspect these items and find the holes. It doesn't take, it's not hard. A lot of them have little red arrows that point to the holes, but tiny little holes where they've been price tagged and it's just torn a bit or something, or a seam's given in. But she clearly hasn't. And of course, what was the reply? Yeah, well, when you try and deal with these people a little bit, sensibly and point out their error, their ways, instead of rolling over and going, I have 25% back, which no doubt, which is what she was angling for, or more. What did I get back? I'll let eBay deal with this. Great. Well, that's wonderful, because I'm quite happy all my listens are what they are, and I respect what eBay say, because you know what, they're pretty darn good to me. So we'll see what comes of that. The very worst case is, at the very least, I'm probably going to get negative feedback if eBay tell her to bugger off. What did I do instantly? What did I do is went and banned her from being able to buy anymore, because I just don't want that. If you want something for nothing, you need to go somewhere else, because you will get nothing. You'll get something that's below standard. You really have to treat suppliers decently. Otherwise, we'll simply, well, anyway, so I blocked her as, not blocked her to be able to message me, but I blocked her to buy any more. So she's going to lose out. And that is really because she's trying to screw me so that she can make extra money at the other end. You have to keep your suppliers happy. So they make a bit and you make a bit. A lot of people go into this game saying, I'm going to screw you over, so I'm going to make every penny. That's not how business works. You've got to allow them to make money so that then you can make money and you have a happy relationship. Because if they go bust, you're screwed. Yeah, it's economics. So a lot of people actually hate the thought of somebody else making money off them. And that's really the wrong way to think about it. I'd rather my suppliers make a good chunk so they remain in business, so that then I can, yeah, it has to be economical, and I'm sure they know that and I know that as well. I pass it on and make a bit as well. So the saga will continue. We'll see what comes of it. It's gone quiet for a few days, but no doubt that is a storm brewing. And you know what? I've got a decent reply for if I get negative feedback. And I've got loads of people that are still buying this stuff. So I would rather, I think in essence, as this yarn goes on, I would rather, and I've always thought this in my other businesses as well, Spark Angels, I'd rather, you know, price myself at a decent level of getting a decent buyers rather than really getting the dredge where people just literally want to nail you. I always say, well, that's what my competitors for. So off you go. I'm glad I've got competitors because that's where you can go, because you will consume so much of their time and they really won't make any money out of you, because you will be a problem. Whereas I'm happy to have the people that respect me as a seller, as a business, and, you know, are happy that they're getting a quality service, item, part, whatever, you know, yeah. So we'll see where that takes us. But at the end of the day, you've really got to look after your suppliers. You can't just think, well, I'm just going to get it from as cheap as I can and make as much money as I can either side. Because if they go out of business, then you're going to go out of business.